Change is in the air, and sometimes I really do think it's about the people you know. Heading over to our fantastic PDA, you guys can tell the map looks a wee bit different from the last episode. We finally had the documentation released to us. This is all of the ground that the co-op technically either does service to, or I'm going to now be helping Arthur with. The reason I was down at the farm real estate, though, is I'm looking to lease 2 different pieces of farm ground to expand the hay operation. The first one is the Dorito-shaped field at the very bottom half of the map, and the other one is the starting field for the other starting farm. Arthur currently has a seed drill he says that I can use, but what it's going to cost me is some free labor during harvest season when he goes through and has to harvest the corn and beans on both of those fields that we helped him with earlier. I know I need to get in my second hay cutting of the season, but the co-op has just had me swamped. So if you guys have some extra time and you want to help get Squad Farms back in the algorithm, be sure to head down below, possibly consider smashing that like button and maybe even thinking about subscribing. First task of today is running the sprayer over some of that ground for Arthur, as it was a little dewy the other night, and I'd rather have the grass dry out before we go and cut it. Following that, we're going to go check out our new fields. It costed me about $2,800 in order to rent the fields for the year. Really can't complain about that, but I don't know if that means my ground's going to produce really well or if it's going to produce absolutely horrible. I'm definitely going to be in touch with the agronomist at the co-op because I don't know the first thing about soil health. I'd like you guys to head down to the comment section and let me know, how is your day going? It's a beautiful July summer day on the wonderful first gen farm, but you know, I want to know how you guys are doing. I like checking those comments out from time to time and seeing what's going on in the community. Bean crop does look good, but you can tell this field is behind schedule. You probably would like to have beans somewhere up by your ankles, maybe a little higher by 4th of July. The corn statement is knee-high, but I've never heard what someone says beans are supposed to be. I will have everybody know that since I've been working at the co-op, I have been having an absolute blast. I've gotten to meet so many great farmers in the community and starting to work out some pretty dang good deals that might help us get this farm not really out of debt, but to start turning a better profit on each year. Arthur's been super supportive of me trying to get into the cattle market, so when I go out and help with harvest this season, he says I'll get to keep a portion of the profits from these fields. That'll really help us because I do not have any source of transportation to get animals to and from the farm, and nor do I even have any animals to begin with. Depending on how good my relationship can be with Arthur, we might try and persuade him to help us out with a cover crop of wheat, kind of split the profit on there. He kind of needs straw for some bedding reasons because he does at least have some animals, but I would get parts of the grain, and eventually I might be able to use it as some bedding for my animals. At some point, we will have to come through with P&K to maximize the yieldage for both fields. I don't see that on my job board yet today. Might be about a week or 2 down the road. I think one of my favorite parts about this game is that there slightly is no traffic. While it's kind of sad because you just feel alone in this world, it does really help when you're driving down the road. You don't have to worry about hitting anybody. That's not good. When you hit somebody with one of these things, that could cause a lot of damage. Yeah. Look at that magnificent property. Dang it, Arthur, you got it made. It's a couple generations in, but you got it made. This crop, I believe, is corn, and this stuff is also really behind, but we planted this stuff in late May. I would think by late August, it should be looking a little bit more like it's on schedule. Only time will tell. It's been a little bit drier every year. Just really have to start wishing for a big rainstorm. That way the water could soak into the soil and give this thing a nice kickstart to get a pretty good return on its yieldage. Could I use the AI to do this job? Yeah. But I kind of want to do this job myself for once. I'm going to do my best to see if I can help out these guys with as much of that ground that we can till as possible. I'm hoping with some of these partnerships that I'm building, closer to September, I might be able to go out and plant some wheat. I don't remember which one's which. I think winter wheat is the one you plant in July and spring wheat's the one you plant in October. Trying to stay on topic, I just love that this case sprayer can get these fields done so fast. I'm just lucky that I haven't had a big enough field that we've had to go out and bring the spray tender. Heading down our last pass, I'm gonna get myself on the road back to the co-op. We'll see you guys at that new farm ground. The plot that we'll be leasing is just off to the left side of the road. I would consider it the smaller of the two. Let me check my papers. I think it's smaller. That is 2.74 to, yeah, about a third smaller. I've heard it helps when you find the field entrance. Usually works better. For the most part, it's pretty flat ground. I do like that, but there is a wee bit of an incline towards the back, and runoff is not going to help on this. Is that a tractor? Hang on, my curiosity's piqued. Ooh, some sort of Farmall. What the heck's that doing down here? Yeah, that's a little old Farmall. I don't know exactly what model it is. It's an M. Wonder if the landlord knows this thing's over here. It's kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Overall, seems in pretty decent condition. I don't see any major flaws with it. I just might give the landlord a call and see what he would want for this, because we need a loader tractor if we end up taking care of the cattle. I'll have to buy a bucket. That's cheap compared to buying the tractor. I guess this is 2025. Everything's expensive. Be right back. I got a phone call to make. If that's perfectly okay with you, then, man, I am 100% able to get this tractor out of here, no strings attached. Sounds good. Thank you, bud. I guess the property owner does know that the tractor exists, but it's been on this land since he's owned it, and there's no tracings of who might have owned the tractor. It's just been there for years on end. I bet you if we haul this thing back to the shop, these things are super simplistic. They were not a rocket science to figure out. We could probably get this thing up and running, and it'd be a pretty good field tractor. Well, cattle tractor. I'll run back to the house and grab my tilt deck, and we'll try and haul that thing back home and see if we can work on it a little later this week. That's cool. We got ourselves a brand new tractor. Well, it's not even close to brand new, but it's new to us. That's what matters. I guess I should mention the tractor price was pretty much free. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, the tractor's just been there even before the guy who owns the field now had it. So he didn't really care. He's just never had a reason to pull the thing out from the ditch weeds. Well, we have a need for a tractor on the farm, so why not? Man, our corn crop's looking really nice. That stuff is definitely knee-high. That's what you want the corn to look like. How is our other field doing as well? That might be a good idea to check. Oh yeah, that's looking good. I'm one with the corn and the corn is with me. I am one with the corn and the corn is with me. I need help. My trailer did not come factory with a winch, but I did buy one from Harbor Freight a couple months ago when I invested in this thing. We're just gonna have to hope that that can pull the tractor from whatever ruts and leaves and preferably not locked brakes that it's sitting in. Looking at the size of this field, this might be a little bit more productive to put into crop set the next season. But the other field is also bigger, and that one is already right next to my other current hay ground. For this cycle, I will at least plant both of them grass, but I'll have you guys let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna sift through these. What should we do? Should we plant the Dorito field into crop, or do we plant the starting field as a crop next season and going forward? There's a very good chance. Oh, why would I leave the what am I gonna do with the trailer all the way over here? I gotta put the trailer next to the get your head in the game, Buck. Crying out loud. As I was saying, I probably can make a couple more deals with some of the farmers around here that we can maybe make some more hay in other grounds rather than just these two. Yeah, I might lose some profit because I have to share the bales, but that's better than leaving a couple thousand extra on the table that could be in row crop versus hay ground. Thinking if I just almost drive the deck underneath the thing like a giant wedge, we might be able to push it up onto the trailer far enough and just have the winch do the rest of it. As long as I don't hit that tree. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Hey, I got it. It's not on great, but it's on, kind of. It was slightly very anticlimactic, but I think I'm gonna go with it. Ooh, I do have it. Got the handy dandy winch controller. Watch this. Magic. Oh yeah, I totally did that. Looks secure enough to me. Let's head home. I probably won't work on this tractor till maybe September before we get harvest started. There's no need to have the tractor at the moment other than to shuffle stuff around the yard. I didn't see any fluids underneath it, but there also might not have been any fluids in it. I'm gonna head my way back over to the co-op. I gotta grab the Magnum because that's about the only tractor that they have available. It's gonna be able to pull his seed drill. But on our way back, we'll go check out the other farm ground. He says it has some seed in it, but might need to pay the co-op to make a seed run. I'm fine with that. You can just go here for the time being. I've still yet to fix my corn header problem alongside the wall, just haven't taken the time yet. It's kind of nice because, you know, it doesn't take up as much space in the shop. Doesn't really need to be sitting up there. Probably going to give Daryl a call, get him started on the mower. That field's not too big. He might even be able to get going with the rake before I'm able to grab the baler. I just know with all this extra work that I've been doing around the farm, it has been so hard for me to get out and really even do my own stuff. We used that thing last episode, and that was a monster, dude. That thing is awesome. Someday, if I can get a planter like that, we can get a lot of ground covered in a very short time. Sadly, it is not right now. Drill we'll be using is this blue Landau. It's about 3 times the width of that old case one that I used to have. Now, is the old case drill probably a bit more reliable than this thing? Yeah, but come on. This gets it done 3 times as fast, so if it breaks, then you're still 3 times ahead of the other guy. I feel like I'm going to get very familiar with this highway because we've been doing grain contracts on and off over the last few weeks, and this is about the only direction that we head. I've yet to have to head south for maybe 2 trips, but 90% of the time we're trucking over past Ye Old Mill and getting on the interstate. I think Ye Old Mill also does offer some seed services, and if there's not enough seed in this drill to get my field over here done, then we can just run down there before we head back to my place and get the Dorito planted. Oh yeah, that ground is totally ready to go and mow. Let's definitely get Daryl on that job so we can be ready to maybe start baling by the time we're done seeding. Gonna let GPS guide me on this planting path. I don't really want to overseed or, not seed where I'm supposed to. Daryl is currently over there with the disc bind. He informed me that the last time I was using it, I could have, used the hydraulic that would flip the thing back and forth. I thought it just swung out to one side, but he showed me it went left to right. As much as I love the way this case pulls the Landau, I feel this field is going to be better suited as a corn soybean crop. I just can't plant anything because, it's the middle of July and I got to work with what I got. We'll do probably 1 cutting out of this and then we'll shift it. The Dorito field sits a bit further away from the farm. I mean, it's close to the co-op, but I could sell bales down there as well. The ground that Daryl's mowing at the moment is probably the best hay ground that you could physically have. Gonna start kicking in on the rows. Does not matter how we plant this because grass does not grow in rows. It grows in patches. Makes it easy on me. I'm usually pretty smart and I carry my drone with me. I'm gonna pop that up in the sky while Daryl's mowing and I'm drilling. And we'll catch some great shots. We'll turn on the music so you guys can have something to listen to. Let's rock, and these guys are gonna roll.
I want you here with me. Am I out of my mind? Or is this how it should be?
I find that absolutely incredible. This thing doesn't even look like it took any seed. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but dang, if we still got that much, we might be able to plant grass for 2-3 seasons. Off to the Dorito. I might want to check in on Daryl. I think he's really close to being done. If that's the case, we'll throw him on the rake. He doesn't cost anything in American farming, so I can actually hire Daryl. Oh yeah, he's got to be done. That's got to be his last pass, isn't it? There's no way it's not. Daryl, are you done yet? Are you at least close to it? Yep, he's done. Sweet, that helps me. Let's get him set up. We'll head our way down south. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. He left a little bit, but that's okay. It's scraps for later. Go, Daryl, go. Go, Daryl, go. Have you guys let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you think about the old first-gen farmer? Ever since I've been able to incorporate the business of the co-op, it really has kind of started to take off. I might be pretty limited on what I can do in this game, but having these businesses, it really does feel and bring back my RP stuff that I do with Grant, Jake, Austin, and Nate. The quality of life really does boost when you start adding in all of these extra scenarios. I probably should throw some fertilizer on both of the grass fields. Might wait about a week because forecast is projecting we might get a storm in about a 2-week cycle, but I want to throw that fertilizer on so it has enough time to bind to the grass seeds, but it also is not just going to run off completely because I applied it during the storm or it basically burns the ground. We don't want that. GPS on this tractor is so nice. I still cannot believe it. We found that little Farmall M sitting down by the rock. It'll definitely help when we start working with animals because it's just a cheap loader tractor, but I'm just hoping that thing is not a pain to fix. If we came out unscathed and we have a pretty clean Farmall M that just happened to be sitting, that's going to be a miracle. Because I think the cheapest next front loader tractor is somewhere upwards of $70,000 to $80,000. There's no way we spend that much trying to fix this thing just to get it usable. We don't need it to be pristine farm show quality, but I'm also not looking to spend more than probably $6,000 to get this thing up and running. Just got off the phone with Daryl. He said that he is done raking, so he's going to head out and go get himself some lunch. I'll pop up there after I'm done with Dorito Land and get that wonderful field baled up. Probably going to have to take the drill back to Arthur's, but I'm going to see if he can let me just leave it at the co-op, because that is a lot of miles to pull this all the way to his place, come all the way back, grab my truck, go all the way back out to the bale barn, and vice versa, when he might just be able to head down there later this afternoon and pick it up. I sure will be excited to see what the turnaround for my hay profit will be in a season, because there's a lot of grass to work with now. Someday I'll be buying cattle from that building. Someday. Just not today. I can guarantee you that. Hey, Grant? When's RCC gonna be open? It's been saying opening soon since launch. What will we get first? RCC on American Farming opening or GTA 6? Alright, that's just mean. I gave Grant enough heck about the baler, let alone getting him onto the RCC. I love being stingy. I definitely am going to be setting Corey on the mower when this field and the other field have to be mowed. They're going to take a while, and I'm sorry, I am not going to be the one sitting on the cab when that happens. Maybe by that point we'll be able to buy a bigger mower. Anybody want to float me a small loan of $1 million so I can go get the swather? I decided not to bug Arthur, and I just shot him a text earlier. He said I could leave it at the co-op, so thank you, Arthur. This guy's being probably a little too nice to me for being a farmer. There's got to be a catch. Maybe he'll, say I got to store half of his equipment because he got too much. I think I'll leave it back by the bale shed, as that might be the most efficient place to put it. Might actually stop for diesel first, because I guarantee you I'm gonna forget to do it before I start running the hay racks, and it's gonna deplete the old gas tank. What? I can't fill up with diesel? Never mind. This gas station does not carry diesel juice. Anybody got any red dye stuff sitting anywhere? Then we're running back to the farm first, because I'm not sitting at under half a tank with this truck. I'm not taking any chances. I've already run it out of fuel once. What's really nice is Daryl took the hay rack with him, so there is nothing for me to bring up. I just gotta top off with fuel. How much is it gonna take to fill this up? 60 bucks? I'll take 20. I wish it took $25 to put half a tank in a truck like this. Anybody else wish that? There ain't no way this thing's only like a 20-gallon tank. Well, I guess it could be. It empties out on fuel pretty quickly. Spencer's truck in real life, man, that thing can take quite a bit to get to empty out, because it's got a 48-gallon tank on it. Grant's truck, on the other hand, is very bad with fuel economy. It's got like the smallest fuel tank you can put on those Super Duties, so he can drive to the farm and back to his house like 3 times, and he already has to put fuel in the tank. Bravo, Daryl. Look at those passes, man. Those are nice. I just love the way hay fields look. They are so satisfying until the baler jams. Or the bales catch fire, or you drive through the guy's lawn. Can't forget the bale twine getting all tangled up. Oh yeah, and then the occasional throw your back out because you're picking up hay bales. Oh, and of course this tractor also needs fuel. Might just talk to the neighbor, see if I can get a couple gallons from him. I'm not sure if I can take any from that fuel tank, because that is on a farm I do not own. Guess I'm gonna learn something new today. Oh cool, I can get some. Nice. Still, 22 bucks. And if fuel was as cheap in real life as it is in this game, I'd be traveling everywhere. Let's try and get some of these weird blips on the edge, since Daryl didn't really spare us the end rows. He just kind of made every line straight forward. Yeah. Ooh, this grass is a bit thicker. Heck yeah, we've already got 6 bales. Last time we cut this, I think we got 1 bale short of a full rack, and it made me mad. We're not leaving it with 1 extra spot on the rack. Absolutely not. If I can get at least a rack and maybe a quarter out of it, I'll know I did good on the turnaround. On the bucked up hay, it's a lot easier to manage these because I do round bales. This one I just have to go by how full the rack was. If I'm able to eventually modernize and go to round bales, I definitely will for sure be documenting that as a bale log in order to keep track of all of it. Just don't have that capabilities quite yet. And not to take out street signs and also jackknife the baler, the ground still seems to look like it was quote-unquote fertilized. Does that stay this way? Interesting. So even though we've harvested the grass, it stays fertilized because the crop just keeps regenerating. That is awesome. Now, if only the crop ground could do that, I'd be saving thousands. The glory days of not having to worry about resources in the baler. I think I got a little too used to farm sim. I was sitting over here looking for the gauge on how much bale twine I have and if I need to go and buy a pallet. Don't think we need that for a mobile game. Just pull the baler through the field and call it a day. Do the old school way. Rack's about half full. I think we're a little over halfway done. Don't let me down now, baler. And I almost think I'm gonna get less bales this time. Please don't let me down. I don't want to have to feel like I got a loss. Not a loss. Using dimensions, I think we still have 2 full stacks to go. Oh boy. Before I do the last pass, I'm gonna go around and collect every single scrap that I can. I honestly think that the doing of the fertilizers made the field worse. That or it does absolutely nothing, which I'd rather have it do nothing than make it worse. All I need to do is have 1 short bale to make a full rack, and it proves that it did nothing. I just really hope that I'm wrong. I mean, I haven't paid the co-op yet for the chemical that I used, but that is gonna suck if I just lost money doing this. I guess cross your fingers. Oh no, there's still enough room to possibly do another whole stack on the front. Maybe not, maybe not. It's gonna fill the rack. It's gonna fill the rack. Come on, come on. Okay, okay. No, no. You're joking, right? You're joking, right? Come on, man. So fertilizer does basically nothing to grass. Good to know. I don't even think with grabbing any of the extra grass we can make a bale. It's a little closer. Wow. I really thought that was gonna be pulling a bit more than it did. And the day's starting to get dark. We're starting to wind down our tasks anyway. Let's get this sold off at the mill, probably. And we'll take the baler back to the house. I almost should chat with my neighbor and see if I can store the baler out at his place, because all the other hay tools are currently in his sheds. But that's a problem for another time. Maybe next time I'll try flunging manure on it, see if that makes a difference. Highly doubt it will, but it's worth a shot. Just want to thank you guys all for tuning in to the first gen farm on Squad Farms. This series is really starting to become one of my favorites, and I'm glad that we can start getting you guys some more stable and consistent content. If you want to go check out the first gen playlist, it can be found up in the top right hand corner of your screen. But until next time, that is all we got for you. Remember to keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh, and most importantly, keep it fun. This will be Squad Farms out right after we sell, because I want to see what this looks like. Come on, what are we gonna get? I think it was like 600 bucks. What we got last time? 714. Good enough. Now it's Squad Farms out. Peace.